After drafting Victor Wembanyama with the first pick of the 2023 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs have an incredibly bright future, with future stars including Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and Malachi Branham, and they also have amazing role players in Jeremy Sohan, Trey Jones, and Zach Collins, along with some solid bench pieces in Blake Wesley, Charles Bassey, and Sandro Mukalazveski. I really butchered that. We'll go by each piece one by one to highlight the best players on the roster, starting with the elephant in the room, Victor Wembanyama. He had a solid summer league, averaging 18, 10, and 3 blocks, which is really solid. He was solidly efficient, but his three-point shot didn't really fall. Victor Wembanyama will be immediately starting at power forward. I estimate he'll average towards the upper end of blocks in the league and has potential to be an all-star and MVP in the future. He's one of the best prospects we've ever seen, so I think the Spurs are really lucky to have him. I'd say the fall off after Victor is insane, so I really do think the Spurs got lucky and are going to benefit greatly from this. Next up is Devin Vassell, the fourth-year guard who just averaged 18.5 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 3.6 assists on an incredibly efficient 44% for the field and 38% from three. While he only played 38 games last year, he managed his first positive blocks plus minus with 0.5. Pretty positive. And he took a huge passing jump, took a 1.5 more assists, and only half a turnover more. He's still not a great passer, but the improvement is there. He is primed to take a huge jump next season. I'm excited to see what he can do this year. He will be starting for the Spurs. Next up is the fringe all-star Keldon Johnson. He's a starting small forward for the team and is really underrated as he averaged 22.5 points and 5 rebounds and 3 assists, which is really good considering with the lack of DeJounte Murray. He got significantly more touches, going from 13.5 shots to 17.7 shots per game. His efficiency did take a hit, but I predict it won't be a problem next year considering he has Wembanyama to take some of the offensive load. He's a really solid rebounder and a good passer considering he hit 5 rebounds at 6'5" and 3 assists at small forward. He's looking really good, and I'm excited to see how he'll do with more help. Trey Jones, the second-round point guard, just had an amazing season, dropping 12.9 points, 6.6 assists, and only 29 minutes per game, which is amazing. He improved at most everything, going from 20% from 3 to 29% from 3, which isn't great, but it's not something to be left wide open. He has more than 3 assists per turnover, which is really solid, and is relatively efficient for a small guard, being 46% from the 3. His 3.6 rebounds are really good for a 6'1" stature and should be a great facilitator for Victor, and I think that's exactly what they need. He's pretty solid on the defensive end, too. Jeremy Sohan, the 9th pick of the 2022 NBA Draft, shows extreme resemblance to the former Spur, Dennis Rodman. He's a stellar rebounder, and his hair is dyed as well, just like Rodman. He's among 5 rookies to average 10.5 points, 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. And he was 7th for rookies in rebounding. In games where he played more than 25 minutes, he averaged 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists on 46-36 splits. While his free throws aren't great and his potential isn't sky high, I think he'll be a good role player and a potential maybe fringe all-star. But I'd say that's probably pushing it. But I think he'll definitely improve. His 3-point shot is actually not bad for a power forward. His efficiency is solid, and his passing pretty okay. He will not be starting this year. Victor Wembanyama will be taking the power forward position. Malachi Branham is a stellar scorer, averaged 10 points per game in only 23 minutes of play. He was the only rookie to do so, And when he played 23 or 25 or more minutes, he averaged 20 points on 50-40 splits, which is insane for a guard. Throughout the season, his efficiency was lackluster, 44 field goal and 30 3-point. But his shot is somewhere in there, and I just feel like he has potential to score on every level of the floor, and he will just be a really good backup guy for this deep Spurs team. I'm just really excited to see how he develops next year. Zach Collins, oldest player we'll be talking about this video. He just averaged the highest points per game of his career, averaging 12 points, 6 boards, and 3 assists. According to reports, he'll be the starting setter with Victor Wembanyama at power forward, and he was really efficient last year with 52% field goal, 37% from 3, and a solid 2.3 attempts per game, which is great for a big man. He was one of 3 players in the NBA to average 11 and 6 in less than 25 minutes per game. Of the players last year who are currently on the Spurs, he has the highest true shooting percentage of 59%. Watching him, he just looks really solid on all ends of the court. He's pretty okay defensively, too. I think he should be a pretty solid, experienced player for this very young Spurs team. I'm excited to see him in the front court with Victor. Okay, let's not sugarcoat it. Blake Wesley had a horrible rookie year, averaging 5, 2, and 3 on a horrible 32 field goal and 38 3-point on 18 minutes per game, which is really high minutes for a 25th pick rookie. He even started a game. When given an opportunity in games where he received 20 or more minutes, he averaged 6.4 points and 3.5 rebounds and 4 assists. Nothing about his game is good. Well, no, there's things about his game that are good. Nothing's great. His three-point shooting, it's okay. His passing, it's also okay. He turns the ball over a lot. His scoring, it needs work. He definitely has potential, and you can see it, but it just his rookie year was not great. But in the G League, he did play really solid, averaging 21, 4, and 3 on solid efficiency, which is quite solid. And I mean, he still has potential. He just has to get used to being in the NBA. He's not been great, but I do definitely see him as a average role player. I think he'll definitely do good. Last but probably not least, we have Charles Bassey, who just ended his sophomore season after getting drafted in the second round. He averaged 5, 5, and 1, and almost averaged 1 block on only 13 minutes per game. He'll be the backup center / power forward, and I see him getting a decent bit of minutes, as I do not see Victor Wembanyama playing more than 55 games this season. He just had a monster night in the preseason, grabbing 6 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks, which is very impressive in 16 minutes of play. Last season, when he did get the chance to play in games where he got 20-plus minutes, where there's 9 of them, he averaged 8.5 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks. I'm really excited to see what he can do next year in a bigger role for the Spurs. A couple more shout-outs go to some solid role players that are part of their bench depth. We have Sandro Makalavelli, solid backup center. Devontae Graham was a solid scorer. Julian Champagnie, who I would have featured, but he only played 11 games last season. Not a big enough sample size, but I'm excited to see what this team can do in the near future. With Victor, I'd say this is up there with the best of the teams in the league, or the young cores in the league. I'd say they have around the same as Detroit or OKC. I'd say they're really underrated as a young core, and I'm really excited to see what they can do. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.